Hey guys, sorry this is gonna come before the video, but I forgot to mention in the video because I kind of started off and hit the ground running with it. I got a lot of my information. The first place I got it from was the MTG Goldfish website, so I'm gonna link them down in the description to their website as well as their YouTube page, just because I want to give credit where it's due. I'm also gonna cite the articles that I used to get my information. But anyway, here's the video. How's it going, everyone? This is Brandon, back with another talk, and yeah, so I wasn't going to make a video tonight, but that was before Mark Rosewater, the lead designer of Magic the Gathering at Wizards of the Coast, dropped a metric ton of news today. So interestingly enough, after Shadows over Innistrad released and everything, there wasn't too much excitement as usual. We're kind of starved for information, but today all that stuff changed. So in total, they announced 6 new products. So I was going to talk about a couple of them, not all of them. At least I think. I don't know. I kind of lost count on it, but. So anyway, the first announcement that they made is the next plane that they would be going to after the Shadows over Innistrad block, and that's Kaladesh, which is Chandra's home plane. Now, this is only going to be the second time we've ever seen anything from this set, because the first time was in Magic Origins. Before that, I'm sure there were some mentions of it somewhere in Uncharted Realms and other lore sources like that, but not 100% sure about it. But so with that, they announced the next names of the 2 sets as well as the symbols. So I'll probably flash that up here for a second or two if I can figure out how to do it, but if not, it'll probably just cut to that for a second. But so anyway, the first set in the block is called simply Kaladesh, and the next one is Aether Revolt, which both of them sound pretty interesting. New planes are always a fun thing. But another interesting thing that they did, they also announced one of the new Planeswalkers that would be in that set. And I'm probably going to butcher this name, but the Planeswalker's name is Saheeli Rai, which, so she's an inhabitant of Kaladesh. So here's a picture of that somewhere. But besides that, it's kind of interesting because, as I mentioned in my previous video, I was playing the Overwatch beta. She looks a lot like Symmetra. Now, I don't know if that was on purpose or not. I mean, probably not. Wizards has a huge creative department, but yeah, it's just kind of interesting. But okay, so that's it for the next block that's coming out. So besides that, something I'm really excited about is the change to the Fat Pack structure. Now, first of all, they're changing the name from Fat Pack to bundles. So for instance, the first one that they're going to do it with is Kaladesh, so it's going to just be called Kaladesh Bundle. Now, everything's going to be pretty much the same, with the exception that instead of 9 booster packs, they're actually going up to 10. Now, this is pretty interesting because this is kind of the biggest difference that they've made since Mirrodin Besieged, where they stopped putting the novel in the fat packs, and they also increased the packs from 8 to 9. So yeah, I personally think it'll be nice having 10 packs, just because ever since I started playing in Theros, I thought it was a bit weird that they had such an odd number in these sets. But with the increase in the number of packs, there's a slight increase. So the price for fat packs that exist now is $40. Now, the the price will be increasing to $42.99, so it's not too big of an increase. If you're paying retail for a booster pack, which is $4, it's $1 less. So either way, who cares? Let's see. The next piece of information is about the Planeswalker decks that are going to be made. Now, not too much information was given about these, just kind of the structure, where I'm just going to kind of paraphrase what was said about it. But with the Planeswalker decks, these are basically for beginners to kind of get into it, which is cool because these each come with one Planeswalker, and the decks are going to be based around playing that Planeswalker. Now, the image that they have so far shows a kind of like a composite box art. It's not a real product just yet, but it has Chandra on the front. So basically what they said was that it's going to be based around it, in the sense that it is guaranteed to be at least the color of the Planeswalker, but it's a possibility that it's also going to have a second color, because for instance with Chandra, she's a red Planeswalker, but it's a possibility that it could be a red-blue deck, or a red-white deck, or really any combination. It's just going to be played around the Planeswalker. So it's going to have one Planeswalker, and as I said before, this is going to be a set for newer players. So they said that the converted mana cost on the Planeswalker is going to be pretty high, basically making it so that the Planeswalker that they released won't be necessarily a staple of Standard. This will really control price increases, but of course, any card could be good if people find the right decks to play it in. So this is going to be interesting to see how people react to this set, but it's nice for beginners, because I remember being a beginner and playing Magic and seeing people have all these Planeswalkers, and for one, not really knowing what they do, but just knowing that they're powerful. So, I didn't have any myself, so the envy in that situation was pretty real. But, okay, so then there's 2 rare cards that are meant to work alongside the Planeswalkers, and they mentioned that they're going to tutor for the Planeswalkers, but it's going to be specific to the Planeswalker that comes in the deck that the rare comes in. Now, I don't know exactly how they're going to do that, but I could probably guess it's probably going to say, search for a certain color of Planeswalker, or search for a Planeswalker of a certain converted mana cost, or possibly even when this card enters the battlefield, you may search your library for X Planeswalker name, which is the Planeswalker that came in the set. Besides that, there's also uncommons and commons that fit with the flavor of the set, and it's gonna pretty much depend. I don't know if they even have these decks completed yet, but that's essentially the mechanics they're gonna go for. Okay, let's see. Next up, we have the dual decks Nissa versus Ob Nixilis. Pretty much that's straightforward. We've seen plenty of dual decks before, and plenty of them had Planeswalkers. So obviously, the Nissa one's going to be green. It's going to be a 60-card deck with one Planeswalker, and then however many rares they put in it. And the other one is going to be Ob Nixilis, so a black deck. So it should be interesting. Now, what I'm kind of wondering about is, with these, since, if I remember correctly, there's only 2 Ob Nixilis Planeswalkers. The one that came out in Battle for Zendikar, and then the one that was in Commander 20... I want to say 2014, I can't quite remember with the dates. But I'm wondering if they're going to make a completely different Planeswalker for it, or if they're just going to reprint one of the other ones. Which, if they did reprint one, it would probably be reignited from Battle for Zendikar, just because the other one's kind of specially tailored towards the EDH deck it came in. Besides that, same thing with the Nissa. I'm guessing that, you know, they could come up with a new Nissa, but it's a possibility they might reprint it, reprint a Nissa that they previously used. But I could really only rule out one that they wouldn't reprint, and that's probably the creature Nissa, Vastwood Seer, just because of the fact they probably want to keep the theme of Planeswalker with these, and not a creature that flips into a Planeswalker. Alright, so that's pretty much it for that. Let's see. Next, we have the Planechase Anthology, which I have to say is probably the news that I'm most excited for in this set. Just because of the fact that I got in kind of late to Magic, so I never got much of a chance to play Planechase. I've played it once with a group of friends. We played like a 6-player game, and it was a lot of fun. You know, the Planechase planar oversized plane cards definitely add a good bit of flavor, and also add a, you know, monkey wrench into your strategy, which can be, you know, a lot of fun. So pretty much what they're doing with that is the Planechase decks. The anthology is going to come with the 4 Planechase decks from 2012, and it's going to come with 86 playing cards. Now, this is interesting, though, because in all of Planechase, if I'm correct on this, in 2009 there were 40 playing cards, and in 2012 there were another 40, so that would leave 6 unaccounted for, meaning that it's a possibility that we are getting 6 new playing cards. Once again, I'm not an expert or anything on the set, but it's really cool to, you know, think, you know, see what Wizards will come up with for these next 6 cards. Okay, let's see, another thing. Okay, and the Commander 2016 sets have been announced, although they I haven't looked too far into it, because I usually don't buy the pre-constructed Commander decks, but apparently they're going to be 4-color Commanders this time around, so yeah, do what you will with that information. I actually know the least about that part. Okay, and yeah, that's a lot of the information, but interestingly enough, in the article that Mark Rosewater just wrote to announce all this stuff, he ended it with this quote, which was, let's see. Okay, I can't find the exact quote, but he said something about, you know, next week, join us when we master the Eternal. Now, this leads me to believe that they might start spoiling the Eternal Masters set, which is huge news because there's been almost complete radio silence on the subject since its announcement. The only thing we've heard about was some possibility of leaks and a lot of speculation on the set, and also a lot of lists that have come out that are quote-unquote leaks but have been kind of debunked. But yeah, so I'm really looking forward to next week, because I think all of us are super excited to find out what's in Eternal Masters, and so we could, you know, decide if, you know, we're going to buy the set, and if we do, how much is a good idea to buy. But anyway, that's about it for my talk this time, and yeah, I hope everyone's as excited as I am. But anyway, until next time, I'll see you guys later.